Just waiting for us to start here. And I did try to mute the screen before, the YouTube screen. So, and of course, okay, so yeah, okay. All right, so we're on. If you can help me out a little bit by going and liking and sharing the stream as well, RJ, that'd be appreciated. So we can try to get some more people in here. Yeah. So how'd your day go today?
Oh, today was a slow day. Just got a little bit of grocery shopping in, and was going to work on assembling a Christmas present for my son, but it was just too cold outside. It's gonna be warmer tomorrow. I'll try it then.
Yeah, well, it is winter time, so
Yeah, darn it! They put Christmas on the calendar right here in the middle of all this cold weather.
yeah. Well, Santa can't very well fly a sleigh through just on regular dirt.
Oh, he could get a jet ski. He could get a four wheeler, something, anything.
Yeah. So you like what I've done with the place?
You put some pictures behind you there. You got yourself a thumbnail.
Yeah. Yeah, and with your help, of course. That's a thumbnail you created for me, so thank you for that.
It wasn't anything hard to do.
Yeah.
I take advantage of the tools that are out there. I do a lot of AI artwork, and I don't know. You see a lot of people talking about the AI art these days, especially artists who are terrified of it or hate it. Either one of the two. It's a tool, though. I mean, it's just something. It's out there now. It's never going to go away. Learn how to use it.
Yeah, so trying to get that viewer count up, you know how that goes. Anyways, so to kind of start off, and I did tell you earlier too that if you wanted to send the StreamYard link out to George and James,
Oh yeah,
you can do that. So did I just echo?
no, not
Okay.
well. I didn't hear it.
All right. For a moment there, I thought I heard my own echo there. All right, so let me kind of explain what this is all about. Of course, I talked to you about this earlier too, because um, noting that you're getting pretty busy with some of the other stuff too and stuff like that, and I know you can only do it every other week. I offered to take over the slot for you and go back to doing it weekly, and then have you come on when you can. And we did talk about that, and you said that was okay. Um, so I'm looking forward to because as you know, I've been wanting to kind of do a panel show myself for a while. So just figuring out when to do it and if whether or not I wanted to add the extra day or not. But I figured, well, I'm already doing it anyways, so because I'm kind of coming on and helping you out with your show.
Yeah.
When you do it on Sunday. So I figured I'd take it, with your permission, take it upon myself to start the weekend edition here, which is
By
going to
all
be
means,
more of a
what I
panel.
want is less shows. I want to do less shows, fewer. I want to do fewer shows.
Well, yeah, I mean, plus I still want you to come on and give your commentary. I know that, but I know like doing some of the administrative stuff, like setting it up, sending the invites out, that can get a little hectic. So I figured, maybe if I started doing the show and if I started hosting the show myself, figured that'd help you out a bit because then all you have to do is just show up, hang out, have fun, relax. Whatever we talk about, we talk about.
There you go.
So I figured you might like that. To where instead of having to worry about the administrative stuff, you can just come and hang out and talk meat, with me and whoever else we can get to show up. Anyways, so basically, for the most part, the Sunday show, the weekend edition is going to be a little bit different for everybody. There's going to be a more of an open panel show, much like RJ's open panels were, where we're going to bring on guests, RJ, and hopefully a few others will show up and join in on the conversation. we'll talk things niche, whatever we can. And as all, hey Rick, I sent you a link, so if you want to join us in here, you're more than welcome to. I sent you the link. It should be in your Facebook Messenger. So if you want to come in and join us, feel free to do so, because the more the merrier, as I always say, right, RJ?
That's right. Makes for better conversation.
Yeah, right. When you have more people offering more input. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, there's going to be an open panel type show where we're going to be talking about open mic, open panel, where we're going to be talking about all things niche, anime, cartoons, comics, manga. The only thing that we will retain from during the week is of course this day in each is of course, since this will be a weekend edition, it will be this weekend in history. So, and of course, as guests, I'll give you guys a wrench, and you guys can also promote your own projects. So with all that in mind, I unfortunately do need to step away from the computer for a moment. So, but RJ, if you want to plug your stuff, and you can share the link and all that. And Rick, again, you're welcome to join us in here if you'd like. I'll be right back.
I have nothing to plug. All of my projects are completed. I am, doing a short comic book story for an anthology called Out of Obscurity that will be coming out from Arrow 4.0, and I've seen the first inked pages on that, but I've only shown them to a few people because you shouldn't be showing comic book art before the comic book is done. I think that's how you do it. I don't know. I've never done a comic book before. I've only been reading them for 50 years. Never had to actually make the sausage. I just make the sandwiches. But do have a couple of topics that I'm going to save until Mike is back, because they are things that will forward some conversation on the show, because one of them is old cartoons, and I know that's really Mike's bailiwick, and some sad news that takes us back through our childhood, which probably is exactly enough to tell you exactly what I'm going to be bringing up. But gosh, other than that, what can I say? I've been I read this. Going to be writing a review on Grandma Chainsaw. This is from Source Point Press. Yes, it is Source Point Press Mature, from my friends Alan Dunford and Will Radford. So that will be coming out. And then I still have to crack the plastic. Well, I don't have to crack the plastic. I just have to pull it out and read it. On Sin Killer #2. Oh, this is horrible to try and show on camera. It's nothing but black, apparently. Hopefully the interiors won't be quite so black. What else? Yeah, no, that's it. Sorry, guys. Got nothing up here except my list of comics to go by and comics that I've received in the mail. This was a cute one. I did like this one. This is from the same people who do The Hawk of New York. It's called The Silvers. It's just a little mini comic here, and it's folded. It folds up to read like a comic, and then when you unfold it, you get the poster on the back. And I'm not going to do that because I will never be able to get it. Yeah, it's too late. I've screwed it up. I'll never get it folded back the way it was. Okay, I think I just did it. Mike's back. Rick's here.
Yeah, hey. Hello.
Right.
I was just letting you finish up there, RJ. Okay, so anyways, so now we got a couple people in here. The first thing we're going to do before we get into start the overall talking. Oh, and RJ, when I said you can promote it's not just your projects. If you wanted to promote your channel, you can also put the link to your channel in the chat as well if you wanted to as well. So, right, whatever it is that you got, whether it's your channel, projects you're doing, feel free to promote them. That was basically the point there.
Anyway, basically, almost anything that tickles your fancy.
Right. Anyways, let's go. Let's go kind of round the table here, as it were. R.J. Carter of Critical Blast. Why don't you tell us a little bit about? Why don't you tell us a little bit? Grant. I know for the most part we all know who we are and stuff like that, but just as a good practice, and just in case people on the replay wonder what's going on here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your channel and whatever projects you may be working on? Why don't you give us a little ditty and all that?
Sure. I am R.J. Carter, author of Alice's Journey Beyond the Moon, Time Hunter, Beyond the Sideways Door, The Destroyer Bully Pulpit, The Destroyer Continental Divide, and The Destroyer Monumental Terror. And I'm also the editor behind Gods and Services, The Devil You Know, The Devil You Know Better, and we'll be doing also the editing on the upcoming The Monsters Next Door. On our website, criticalblast.com, where we do entertainment reviews. Of course, we've got the publishing house. We've got the distribution business for people who do crowdfunders. So we handle fulfillment for them, and a little bit of data analysis on the side for people who don't need the fulfillment, but they need to know how to put their fulfillment together. So we work with
and you also do something in the way of promotion, don't you?
And we do the podcast on the Critical Blast YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Critical Blast.
And if you would like to share that in the chat, you're more than welcome to.
It takes a little bit of time to type it on the phone.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty fast. You got it there.
Oh yeah, but I started working on it before I started talking.
All right, there it is, folks. So for anybody who wants to go check out RJ's channel and check out some of the independent, and I know Rick's been on there before too, as well as a few of our other friends like Tim Olson with Melvin, the Tomoloviches. I know a few other people have been on it, but if you guys want to go check that out, there it is.
Always
so
looking
Rick,
for new guests.
I'm sorry, RJ. You did you want to add something to that?
No. You know why you can't hear me breaking up? It's because my mic is too far out of the way. This might be better. Just saying, we're always looking for guests to have on and talk about your comics.
Okay. All right. Well, now Rick, Mr. Rick Piper of Cross Comics, want to tell us a little bit about yourself, your channel, whatever projects you're doing right now?
Well, as you said, my name's Rick Piper of Cross Comics. Cross Comics being a comic company that I created, Christian comic company. Right now, in demand is my Canadian Shield 2 and more over on Indiegogo, which has Canadian Shield 2 on, as well as No Drift number 1, 2 of my characters. Afterwards, after it goes out of demand, probably sometime in January, as long as everything goes right. I will be working on my next, getting things ready for my next campaign, which will be Canadian Shield 3, Snowdrift 2, and The Flame number 1. As well as I have a YouTube channel here as well, Rumble, on almost all social media.
And Rick, if you would like to share your the link to your YouTube channel, you're more than welcome to do that here right now if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll do that in a second. After trying to just focus on saying whatever here. So yeah. You have a Tuesday night chill stream from 10 to midnight, and anybody's welcome to be in the chat and even possibly come on if they want. It's just through my Discord, so it's easy. Go to the on-air chat where I am, and we can talk about whatever. I think that's about it.
I'm just okay. Here we go. Trying to find the article that I did the other day because figured it'd be a good way to start off our conversation here. Because I did talk to RJ a little bit about this as well. Did you guys hear about the passing of Aline Kaminsky Crum?
I don't think so.
I
You,
have.
you don't know who she is, Rick? And
Not by
RJ,
name. Not.
and I know when I mentioned it to RJ, it barely hit a note with him as well. Well, I guess I'll just pull up the
I didn't
article.
read her stuff.
Huh?
She
Yeah,
wasn't my market.
I don't really think a lot of people in our crowd would have read her stuff based on what I was reading from the article. But I just shared it now. There it is.
Okay. Oh, and I like your new background.
Yeah, thank
Like,
you. Yeah, RJ created that for me. Oh, and by the way, for everybody, here's Rick's link right there.
yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and enlarge this real quick just so everybody can see this. So okay, well I guess Aline Kaminsky Crum. Let's see, groundbreaking and innovative indie comics creator dies at 74. Now the name now when I mentioned RJ, of course he was able to pick up on it because just trying some other things here.
Yeah, I knew her relationship.
To Robert Crumb. Well, I'm gonna read. I don't think I'll read the entire article, but I'll read at least just some of it, just so you guys can kind of get who she is here. Aline Kominsky Crumb, one of the most influential and groundbreaking independent comics creators, has passed away at the age of 74. I covered this article the other day. Now, this is some of the artwork she did right here. Now, these, from what I understand, are somewhat autobiographical. So, let's see. All right, we just did this. Let's see. Born in Long Island, Aline Goldsmith spent her teen years in New York City involved in the counterculture. So she was 74. That would have meant she would have been born in like 1948, which would have made her like basically a child of the 60s, to give you an idea. 60s, early 70s. She befriended the oh, somebody, one of you was starting to say something?
No.
No, not me.
Okay, I thought it sounded like for a moment one of you was about to say something, so that's why I stopped. She befriended the avant-garde rock band The Fugs. Interesting name, huh?
Yeah.
She married Carl Kominsky when she was just 20 years old in 1968. They moved to Arizona, where she got an MFA in fine arts. Let's see, and then let's see. While in Arizona, she ran into her old friends from the Fugs, who had also moved to the area. He introduced Kaminsky to indie comics creators Spain Rodriguez and Kim Deitch. Now, when I noted that name, I was wondering if Kim Deitch was in any relation to the famous MGM animator Gene Deitch, who was involved in a lot of the Tom and Jerry cartoons. I think he was the director of them. Like many young creators of her generation, indie comics were mind-blowing to her. So, she moved to San Francisco to work on comics in 1972. Soon after she arrived there, she was introduced to the famed indie comics creator Robert Crumb. The two soon started dating, and the work of Justin Green, who passed away earlier this year, and just about so. So I'm just going to go down to show you some of the work they highlighted here, and some. I know, particularly Rick, you're more the artist of the three
Yeah.
of us. You might have. I don't know if you'd have some things you might want to say about some of the artwork here.
All I'll say it's not really my type of artwork, but
Twisted Sisters. And I'll go right by that because I don't think we want to sit there too long looking at that.
yeah.
Let's see. Mommy Dearest, now that's the name she gave her comic character, Bunch. So it's just some of our artwork. You
Yeah,
know,
these things stayed underground for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't think, particularly in the 70s and 80s, they would have had a lot of mainstream appeal. Love that bunch. Food, sex, death, pain, romance, joy.
I hate to say it, these probably wouldn't even have a lot of appeal today. Some of the
No.
content it might, but to
Oh
me,
well, I
Well,
bet
yeah,
thematically it might. Yeah.
well, now RJ, you said you know more about Robert Crumb's work. Um,
I mean, yeah, he was very influential in the whole underground scene. Yeah, a lot of his material you'll have seen on T-shirts, on tattoos, on stickers. His Mr. Natural character, his keep on trucking guy who's walking with the legs far extended out. Of course, all the work he did with the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers, which was a huge influence inside the pot community, because a lot of these undergrounds were sold at head shops where you would go get your pot smoking utilities.
Right.
There would be these comics on the side here.
I had read something like that when I'd done some of my previous research on some of the history of comics and stuff like that. I did see some of that mentioned in the history aspects of it. So I was somewhat aware of that. And and I don't know if you guys happen to catch any portion of Friday's show, but Tim was talking about something that I had kind of heard about before, from from um, from Crows of Judgment. I didn't know a whole lot about it. It was, I guess, about something in regards to Bill Finger and Bob Kane, and I guess how Bill Finger's granddaughter had fought a years-long battle to get him credit as a writer for Batman. So,
Yeah, he was hugely,
co-
largely a writer.
yeah. So I was, he did talk about that for a few minutes. I gave him the spotlight there for a few minutes to talk about that. And I would have, of course, liked to seen him here tonight too, to see if we could have got him to. Oh, actually, here we go. Hello, James. I'll get you in here in a moment. James,
Hey guys,
hello.
I'm running a little late. I had to take care of something on Discord for a while. I had some
No problem. Hey, James, if you can make a comment on YouTube, on the I don't know if you can. Can you do like a can you open a window and open up to YouTube? And
I can try. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, just drop your links. Drop your links.
I need to find Mike's. I got to find your thing. Hold on.
And Mike, we had a sad moment. One of our childhood memories has passed today.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Bob McGrath passed away today at 90 years old.
Bob McGrath. That name does sound familiar.
Yeah.
Sesame Street.
These are the people in your neighborhood. In your neighborhood.
Bob McGrath. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I think I know who you're talking about. He was the brown-haired guy.
Yeah, on Sesame Street.
The guy, I get
one of the OGs.
Okay, the image that comes to mind is, I guess, he had a similar look to Bob Saget.
Yeah, I guess kind of.
And we have Mr. Yanafui in the chat.
Yes, I see that, Mr.
Oh,
Yanafui.
Mr. Yanafui. My favorite chatter.
And I guess that's
put a square out there. He says, "I can't."
It was supposed to be a hand waving.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was we Sesame Street original characters. Luis passed earlier this year, and now Bob today. So
there you go, Mike.
Okay. All right.
I might have seen the original stuff. I'm not sure. I forget when it started. Well, actually, I
y'all,
think
y'all
it's
too young.
I meant can't
He was
come.
he was there for 48 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
He just quit a few years back, and was still doing representation for it in live appearances and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So James, the next. So now you can go ahead and share your link, because I needed to, in order for you to be able to do that, I needed to
There you
have
go.
you.
There you go.
Had to have a comment to put
Okay,
the thing on.
So let me tell you what's going on real quick.
Actually, yeah. Let's give James the floor here.
2 nights ago on Joe Espano's stream, we did the pre-launch for the Steins Rise of the Vampires. It's now live on Indiegogo. If you go there now and sign up before we do the launch, you'll be have access to a special cover offer. That means a cover that only those that do the pre-sign up will be able to buy. It's not going to be for anybody else, but just those on the pre setup. And I
we
will
just put the link up for James as well. So
I will actually pull up the actual cover so you guys can see it. Just give me 1 second. This is going to be the cover that you'll be able to go in and buy. It's going to be, this is the only way you're going to be able to get it. There's no other way to get it. So go to it. Where are we at?
Are you trying to share something, James?
Well, I got to get to it first.
I'm in.
So this is the cover that you'll be able to actually get. There you go. This cover, it is now over at Gabriel Taib. He'll be doing the coloring and lettering and everything on it. But that will be the cover that you will be able to get only during the pre-sign up. So only those that do the pre-sign up will get this cover.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that, James?
I mean, that's what we got going on. Also on this event that we're going to be doing, this campaign is going to be like no other campaign on Indiegogo because of one reason. Not only will we be able to get this graphic novel, but you're also going to be able to get the actual novels on top of that. So everything's going to be there. So the Steins, all 3 of the Steins novels will be there, and this graphic novel will be there to buy.
Okay. Now, James. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were finished.
We have some fantastic artists also on board. Of course, we have Gabe El Taib. We have Peter Gilmore. We have Shelby Roberts. We have Dan Lawless and Joe. I always forget his last name, but he runs the Reaper Destroyer comic as well. So we have all those guys on board. So all of them are on board.
Okay. All right. So James, I gave everybody else a chance at the beginning of the show. Since you just got here, why don't you tell us a little bit about, for those who may not know, tell us a little bit about yourself, your projects, your YouTube channel, whatever you want to, just to give yourself a little introduction here, since you kind of came in late.
My name is James D. Lee. I am a author and artist. I am the author for the well-known horror trilogy, The Steins, which started coming out in 2020. So we have done fantastic with those. I started off in comic books in '94 with Kelsey Shannon. And then I did a departure from comics in '97 and went to work in Japan for a while and, came back home. So I came back into the comic book art and writing right around 2020. So I'm back. I'm looking forward to this new graphic novel that I'm doing. So, here we go.
Okay. And just for those of us who may not be quite as aware, what exactly is the Steins? About
the original story of the Steins is about a young girl named Mary Jade von Stein. Her parents are murdered, and she's forced to go because of her age to live with her relatives over in Europe. The problem is when she gets over there, her relatives are vampires, werewolves, and walking undead. So she's got to try to survive living with them while the people that killed her parents want her dead. And as the story goes on, you find out there's another vampire in the mix who wants everybody dead. And that's the three novels. That's the story for that. The graphic novel that we're working on now tells the story of how it all started with the original vampire and why he became the vampire.
Okay, so thank you for that, James. And of course, here's the link for everybody if you want to go check that out. So there you go, and it's in the chat. So, anyways, I don't know if you caught any of what we were talking about just before you came in. So we started off with the conversation. We're talking about Aline Kaminsky Crum. I don't know if you've heard of her. She passed away this past week. She was considered a groundbreaking and innovative indie comics creator. Just wanted to see if maybe you had anything you wanted to add to the conversation or anything like that. If you knew of anything about it, or
I did not hear that she had passed away. So this is the first I've heard of it.
yeah, I reported on it the other day on my channel here, and I of course mentioned it to RJ. The only thing he knew about it was that she was the wife of Robert Crumb,
Right.
but she actually and I showed the guys some of her work. You guys want to tell James what you thought of her work when we saw it?
It was underground, typical underground work.
Not for me, but I'm sure there's lots of people out there that like it.
It's not your 90s image work or your 80s Jose Luis Garcia Lopez work. It was, exaggerated proportions.
I wouldn't say
It goes out of its way to be ugly.
Kind of like a retro new age.
Yeah, it goes out of its way to be ugly.
Okay, I got you. Abstract.
Yeah, just ugly people, fat proportions, in an attempt to be realistic.
And there was one particular scene that I just kind of went speeding by because I figured we didn't want to see it for too long.
Every scene you came through, you had to speed by. The one on the toilet, the one where she's getting an abortion on the table. It was just this is fun. The comics, kids. But it was for a different market.
Yeah, I don't think there's been any comics like this in the mainstream ever.
Yeah. Well,
wait a minute. No, that's not true.
Back in 1948, so she was a child of the 60s.
Yeah, well, that's not true. The Pro by Paladin. I mean, let's face it. That one's a little. It came out of Image. Remember that one? The Pro.
No. Oh no, I don't know that one.
Oh, by Joe. What's his name? That did Supergirl and also did Ash.
Wait, did you say the Pro or the Crow?
PRO. THEPRO is the title.
Okay.
And it's basically this woman, she's single mother, lives in the slums, gets superpowers, and she has the attitude of a single mother who doesn't give a shit.
Yep.
And she's walking around, she's walking around in her underwear and beat up an old apartment and everything like that. So, yeah. So it's been done before. So, although I will say this, it's got really good artwork. It's just the story is like, okay.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm more talking the artwork because.
Well, we didn't really get into reading any part of it. I was just showing because, as I said, I reported on it the other day. So I mean, when I first saw the article, so it was just something. It was again a news piece that I thought was of some interest. So let's see.
Mike, I've been doing your stuff the last couple of days here. You've been living in your world, watching old cartoons. No, been watching old cartoons.
Oh, what did you watch?
The Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan.
Oh, I love that show. That was fantastic. That's fantastic.
Kind of funny because a few weeks ago we actually did we read through Tim Olson and I read through a comic about Charlie Chan. I told you about that. When that feature went on to Feature Comics and Quality back in 1939. So
I actually have a rare copy of a cartoon, that I know RJ may be interested in seeing.
Which one's that?
The 1979 Flash Gordon movie cartoon.
Oh, I heard that was really good.
It is extremely good. If they would have made the movie like this cartoon, it would have rivaled Star Wars. And here's another little tidbit about this movie. The fight scenes of the spaceships was done by LucasArts crew because they were between the movies and they needed work. So they built the models and they filmed it for the cartoon. So when you see the actual cartoon part of the ships, they're modeled.
Star Wars.
They're modeled Star Wars, yeah. But they're for Flash Gordon, and they're based on Flash Gordon ships.
The thing that I got out of watching this, and I'm only halfway through it. I'm on finish the first disc of 2. The thing I thought was trivia was that how Key Luke was the voice of Charlie Chan, and he was also number 1 son in the Charlie Chan movies.
Yeah.
And he's done a ton of stuff since. He's the old man in Gremlins that didn't want to sell the Mogwai.
Yeah.
He was Master Po in Kung Fu.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, that's the trivia thing here. But it turns out there's a second piece of trivia in here. Young Ann Chan, one of the 10 Chan children, is an early work voiced by Jodie Foster.
Wow.
Are you serious? Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So she was the tomboy of the group because every little Chan had their own personality to make them stand out. They didn't all grow up to be the same clone of the brother and sister. And of course, as with all Hanna-Barbera teen mystery solving sleuth groups, they were also a rock band. So
Yeah.
Hanna-Barbera had a well-placed plan for their TV shows. Because you look at Speed Buggy, you look at Chan Clan, you look at all of them together, Scooby-Doo and all that, they all had 4 or 5 people and an animal or a car or something. And it all, they all worked together.
It was 4 or 5 people and some form of anthropomorphic character.
Yeah.
they brought it all together here because they had 10 people.
Yep.
They had a dog named Choo Choo. If you listen to the music, whenever Choo Choo's investigating something, the background music is do 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 do. Yeah, they used the Scooby-Doo music. And they were Transformers before Transformers because the Chan van, their vehicle, their speed buggy,
You change things.
it changed into a hot dog truck. It changed into a submarine. You just pressed a button on the 1 through 20 keyboard. And
Remember Hong Kong Phooey did
Actually,
the same thing.
that reminds me of Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cat too, because they had a vehicle like that too.
Well, Heathcliff didn't. The Cadillac Cats did, but not Heathcliff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was referring to
Combo
the
show.
show, not the specific characters. I know the specific characters were the Cadillac Cats who had it.
And there was always a talk. Well, which came first, Heathcliff or Garfield? That was the talk. And do you guys know?
I think it's
I
actually
don't know.
Heathcliff.
I'm
No.
not sure. I never really looked into that. So
No, actually, it's Garfield.
they both came out around the same time to me when I discovered
There's
them.
a 2-year difference. Garfield came out in '79, and Heathcliff came out in '81.
Heathcliff was
What,
funnier.
are you talking about what, the comic or the cartoons?
The comic,
Character.
the characters.
Character. Okay.
Yeah,
First
Garfield was
introduction.
first. Yeah, Garfield
Wow,
was
that recent. I would have thought they were a little older than that. But
No. That's when they came
No.
out. Now here's another trivia question. Jim Davis, who does Garfield, did you know he drew 3 issues of Incredible Hulk?
You told me
I
that
didn't,
before,
but
yeah.
then again, I haven't got that to that point in history yet either.
Yeah, found out about that. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Yeah, but he filled in for 3 issues.
Cool.
Makes you wonder if they could have got Dale Keown to fill in for 3 strips of Garfield.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
They used to do that in the comic strips. They would have it was a special day. It was a day they traded strips.
Yeah.
And you would have Gary Trudeau would draw Peanuts and
Yeah.
Charles Schultz would draw Marmaduke.
Yeah, yeah. But here's the thing, and also back in the '80s, you didn't know who was doing what cover on what book.
No.
Because I brought this up. Did anybody know that Jim Lee drew covers on Transformers, the comic book?
I didn't know that, but
Yeah, he did.
Uh,
Also, there's a 3-issue story with Red Sonja and Conan together. Who are the cover artists? Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, Willis Pataccio. Yeah, and everybody's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, they're all right there. You can see them. You can see it's their art style too." But they jumped around all over the place. I mean, back in the '80s, they were jumping all over. All those guys were jumping around on the covers.
Trying to get work. Get paid for doing something.
And then they all got Spider-Man and X-Men, and became famous.
Yeah, I got a lot of the Transformers comics by Marvel. I almost got the whole run.
Yeah, you should be able to. I have the comics. I think one's number 48 or something like that, and the other one's a little bit further up. But what it is, one is going to be a girl with horns holding. She's in a skimpy outfit, and she's holding one of the heads of the Transformers in her hand. There's one cover, and then the other cover that Jim did is of Galvatron on the cover. So,
well, maybe for next week I might have be able to find notes.
Yeah, I'm getting pulled up here.
Just so you guys know, we're going to be doing this every week. I talked to RJ earlier, knowing that, of course, he's kind of been getting busier of late. I decided that I would offer to host kind of the open panel on my channel.
Okay.
And he agreed. And I don't know if you noticed, James, you noticed the background I have up? Probably a little harder to.
No, all I'm seeing is plywood.
All right. Well. Yeah.
That's all I see.
Because we got 4 people up. So yes, it's
okay. Well,
try and put us out to the side or the bottom.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to figure out exactly.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see it now.
Yeah. See that?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, 67. The war is over and the Decepticons have won. Jim Lee cover.
Yep. Did you find the other one?
Other one was 53. It almost looks like Lady Sif. Not well. Looks like an Asgardian of some kind.
But it's early. But that's early Jim Lee artwork. Early.
Yeah.
And of course, anybody who's in the chat, again, feel free to, if you have anything you'd like to add to the conversation, feel free to do so. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to contribute. Always welcome to. And anyway, so let's see. We're already at 42, coming on 43 minutes here.
It's away from you, doesn't it?
So now that we have a few more people, I'm going to go back here real quick and just explain to everybody what's going on here. I know I just mentioned that I had talked to RJ earlier and asked to take over the time slot since I know he's been getting busier. So now RJ can just sit back and relax and come in and just be a guest because I basically have in essence kind of taken over the show, from the administrative end where I'm going to be hosting it on my channel now. So I hope we'll see everybody back here every week to talk more and more niche. Of course, that doesn't mean we're going to end the show right now. I know the way it sounds like I'm ending the show, but no. We're going to still be around a while here. But I want, because I've always wanted to do a panel show too, and I figured, I know RJ's been getting busier late, and I'm sure he wants a break from the administrative side of it, and just wants to be able to come on and just hang out and talk, niche and whatever, just hang out, relax. So I offered to take over the slot and take over the administrative side of it, and hopefully he'll still help me out with things like sending links out to like you, James, and George, and whoever I can't reach for whatever reason, or and also he helped out too with the background there. He it was his thing that he created for me, and I just finally got around to trying to figure out how to put it up. So I thank him for that. I thank him. Thank you for letting me take this opportunity to add this to my repertoire of shows. And I hope as time goes on, we all have some good talks and enjoy the niche culture as we always do. It looks like on this premiere episode we've had a pretty good good range of conversations going on thus far, so that's a good sign. We actually are retaining 4 people in here, so that's good too.
Yeah.
So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to move on to another topic. We are now in December here, which means Christmas is around the corner. And I wanted to get an idea of, you know, whether historically or even, even some that might be getting released this year. Um, you guys have any particular favorite holiday specials you guys want to talk about or looking forward to watching, whether they be current or even maybe from the past?
No, only one I'm watching is a new one, and I've already watched it, and it was worth the effort.
Is that the Guardians of the Galaxy one?
No,
We're
no,
talking
sorry.
holiday specials here, Rick.
No,
Yeah,
no,
but
the
they did a
guy.
holiday special.
Huh.
It's on
Yeah,
it's on
this year.
Disney Plus right now.
Which one was it?
Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh,
Yeah, they did the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. I've heard good things about it. I don't have Disney Plus, so I won't see it. But the one that I watched was A Christmas Story Christmas.
Oh, yeah, that's
part
what I'd like
2.
to see.
It's not part 2 because there is a part 2 out there with different actors. They did
But
Ralphie
this
as
one's like the original part 2 with the original people.
yes, almost all the original people at least.
was it?
Christmas Story Christmas. Wait, is this based on that movie Christmas Story where the kid got his tongue stuck to the?
Yes.
And the BB gun and everything. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's filmed exactly like the old A Christmas Story, as far as Ralphie's got his daydreams. The original, all the kids are grown up and are there. They didn't get the mom because she's retired, so they got a different mom to play her part. But it feels like the whole thing, and the whole thing is a tribute to the father, the old man, because it starts off with them waiting for Grandma and Grandpa to come to their house for Christmas and get festivities started, and he gets the phone call from his mom that the old man died.
Yeah.
And it's set in
is
1973.
Is this based on the idea that are they like aged up to modern time, or is this?
No, they're aged up to 1973 because the original was supposed to take place in 1940. So
Okay.
Peter Billingsley, who was Ralphie, kind of co-wrote and produced this thing, and they excellently copied Gene Shepard's voice. And the whole thing leads up to Ralphie's trying to be a writer, but he's being rejected at every turn, and he's asked to write the obituary for the old man. And when he sits down, he writes the obituary for the old man. He ends up writing the story of how his old man was at Christmas, and it's the story of A Christmas Story. So it makes this full loop around. It's his first published work, and you basically end A Christmas Story 2 with him
the publication
opening
of
up
the Christmas
scenes
Story.
for Christmas Story. Yeah,
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything they want to mention?
No,
Any-
I mean
like
this.
you can even talk about your all-time favorite Christmas special as well here.
I'm not sure they're all-time favorites, but growing up, I used to like to watch, the Frosty and Santa Claus, claymation type things. They were,
the stop motion.
yeah.
Yeah, the Rudolph the Red-Nosed. Speaking of those, the actual Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Santa Claus sold at the auction place for like $180,000. This one guy had them, but several of them got destroyed because of where they stored them was too hot and they melted. But
Ooh,
Rudolph is fully restored and Santa's restored, and they're in a museum. I can't remember which one it is, but they do have them still, so they're still around, but not all of them because a lot of them got destroyed.
Another good one is Christmas Carol with there's a certain person. Alice, no, I was going to say Alistair Smythe, but that's from the
Are
Spider's
you
Lair.
thinking Ebenezer Scrooge?
Yeah, well, yeah.
The best one of that's got to be the one that Mickey Mouse did. That one's really good, and then you got the classic one from the '70s. That's really good.
Yeah, maybe
Well, I know
there's
Rankin Bass did a lot of good Christmas specials. Probably my personal all time favorite Christmas special. In fact, it's pretty much a tradition with me every year that I always try to watch it. Even though I think I've missed it maybe only 5 times throughout my whole life. Yogi's First Christmas, which came out November 26, 1980. That was when it was originally released. I basically think I've seen it just about every year, maybe with the exception of 4 or 5 times. So that one was one I just grew up watching, loved it. The premise behind it was, of course, Yogi Bear normally sleeps through the winter because he's a bear. He's hibernating. But yet, deep down in his cave, he hears all the ruckus of the lodge, and gets woken up and then realizes he just woke up in time for Christmas. And it's a very touching tale. It's, I think all but maybe one or two of the voice actors who were in it are now dead. Basically you had Dawes Butler, John Messick, Janet Waldo, Marilyn Schaefer, John Stevenson, and of course Hal Smith. Hal Smith, who would provide the voice of Santa Claus in a number of those Christmas specials, including, of course, Flintstones Christmas and a few others. But yeah, I think all of them, or almost all of them, are unfortunately passed on. But that was the underlying story you had, of course, of Herman the Hermit and Snively, for different reasons, were kind of the antagonists here. Snively just being a spoiled little brat, and Herman the Hermit, just wanting to be a hermit, be left alone, have everybody go away. But by the end, their hearts are lightened to the Christmas spirit, thanks in large part to Yogi, and just kind of almost a kind of like Yogi's absent-minded antics still end up somehow getting him promoted little by little up the ranks because of the hotel manager, not the hotel, but the hotel owner. She like I remember the one line, what a charming bear, and then you got Ranger Smith going, charming bear. Now I can't get him to go back to his cave. I'll be watching it, And they do have problems, but Yogi's the one who actually ends up saving everything. So I think Hal Smith, as I said, Hal Smith provided the voice of Santa Claus in that one. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen that special before.
I probably did.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Another good one, of course, is How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the cartoon one, the original cartoon one.
Interesting story about the Grinch that Stole Christmas cartoon. That's the last work of Boris Karloff.
That's the last work?
That's the last one he did, yeah.
He didn't he provide one of the voices in there?
Yeah, he did the narration in the Grinch.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that was his last work before he passed away.
And then another good one that I can remember, the He-Man and She-Ra Christmas special.
Yeah, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, that one was a special during the 80s.
I'm not nice. Skeletor.
I actually liked the Red Skeleton Christmas. That was good one. They used to run that all the time.
And of course, another good Christmas special that I watched quite a bit growing up too was Santa and the Three Bears. That was one of the more independent productions. That was another situation where two young cubs, trying to stay up past bedtime, as it were, and then their local park ranger tells them about the legend of Santa Claus, and now they're excited. They want to stay up, see Santa Claus, and the mother's not too keen on the other. Man, why can't you kids just go to bed? That one came out in 1971 originally. So
yeah, there was a lot of Christmas specials back then. Lots of shows had them. Nowadays, not so much.
Well, I think Rankin Bass is the one who was really kind of because Rankin Bass did a lot of the classics, like some of the ones we were talking about earlier, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
In fact, Rankin Bass got Boris Karloff after How the Grinch Stole Christmas, because next year he did the Mad Monster Party.
Did you just look that up, RJ?
Yeah, he did a handful of things after Grinch, but they were all in the same year. I mean, Grinch was 67, and then he did a whole bunch of stuff in 68, and then only 2 things in 71 before he died.
Yeah. So then what I think a more correct thing to say from what James is saying was that was the Grinch That Stole Christmas is probably his last major production he did.
Yeah, well, I find Mad Monster Party to be a major production. I've got both versions of that on DVD because I loved that damn thing.
Exactly the first I've heard of Monster Party myself. So.
Oh, you have not seen Mad Monster Party? Oh, okay. So imagine the same guys who did Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and every Christmas special doing something for Halloween. They had Phyllis Diller as the monster's mate. They had some guy who was a Jimmy Stewart impersonator who did the voice of the protagonist, the young hapless boy. But they brought in Frankenstein monster. They brought in Dracula. They brought in the Invisible Man. They brought in the creature from the Black Lagoon, and they even brought in King Kong, but they didn't call him King Kong.
So almost like Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah, except stop motion and
probably better. Probably where Hotel Transylvania got their idea.
More than likely. Gee, Francesca, you could come along with me and we'll escape the island. It was great. Yeah. I can't remember the character's name, but he was Boris Karloff's nephew who was invited to the island because Boris Karloff, the mad scientist, was going to retire. He was going to put his nephew in charge of all the monsters, and the monsters were kind of rebelling against the idea.
That sounds about right. Because they always did something because it was like the new monsters were coming on board, the teenagers were coming on board, and the old guys need to step away.
Hello, Tim. Look who's joined us, everybody.
Tim's here, and he's gone. That was fast.
Right. Here I am.
Yeah. I don't know. My computer made flinch on it or whatever, but hey,
double
Tim.
click.
Hey, how's it going?
Right. Hey, Tim, just to let you know, this wasn't something that, quote unquote, you're scheduled, unlike the Friday shows with the guest code.
Right.
This basically just kind of like, what RJ was doing before. It's just that I talked to him earlier today, and I, offered to take over the slot.
Yeah.
And do more of the administrative and run the show basically on my channel.
Yeah.
Because I know he's been getting more busy lately with doing some of the stuff he's doing.
Yeah.
So I offered to take over the slot in the show, and therefore that's what we. Well, now that you're here, Tim, would you like to introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about yourself and about your the projects, your channel, and all that? Here, in fact, let me do this for a moment.
Boom. Let me lock my ugly face and so you can see this beautiful cover. Like you see that. This is Melvin 2, which is got like 18 days left, I think, on Indiegogo. It's going to go into demand, But what do I know? I've only self-published 2 books, and a third one's on the way. So I don't know anything.
So is this your third book?
It's my second book. My third book is art-wise is done. Just the script has to be edited. Maybe some gray toning, and then lettering, and then blah blah blah, and then it's ready to go.
One page is left.
What do I know? I'm just some guy who's only done it twice. You might want to consult an expert who's never even done one campaign before.
And we know a few of those type of people, right?
Yes. And one in particular, he's obsessed with time travel, but that's not important right now.
Anyways,
anywho,
Rick, did you want to say something?
I was going to say, after next month, I should be in January, I should have 3 books self-published.
Oh, boom! Is that Canadian Shield 3?
No,
Oh, is that Snowdrift?
Canadian Shield 1, Canadian Shield 2, and Snowdrift 1.
Oh, right. And then when you get Canadian Shield 3 done, that's 4.
Yeah, my next campaign, it'll be after that's done, it'll be 6.
Yeah. Tim, I don't know if you can put a window up, but if you want, why don't you go at least make a comment on the YouTube, because I want to double check, make sure that you have a wrench so you can share your link if you'd like to share your link.
And Tim, while you're doing that, can you think of any of your favorite Christmas specials? We were just discussing that.
Ooh, there's the live action Grinch, because they go so much deeper into the character, and it lasts a little longer. And then there's the 2018 Christmas Carol, which honestly, once you've seen it, you're like, oh, I totally get why Scrooge is that way. And the Christmas Story.
Yep. We just talked about A Christmas Story. In fact, I was talking about A Christmas Story Christmas. If you like A Christmas Story, watch that one because it's all the same people.
Is it like the unofficial sequel?
Yeah, it's Peter Billingsley, who played Ralphie, helped write and produce this one. And
when did it come out?
It's
This
on
year.
Netflix right now.
Oh,
It came out like 2 weeks ago.
is it as good as the original?
I found it to be excellent. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
Ooh. Did he literally this time shoot his eye out?
No. This time he
shot somebody else's
eye out. He shoots somebody else's eye out. Actually, it's a very, very, very ouch moment. Yeah, he's not having a great Christmas, and he's struggling to make it the best for his family that he can. Since the old man died.
That's kind of a joke that became true then.
Yeah.
I was just talking about the Indiana Jones movie. We used to make jokes about Indiana Jones being really old and doing adventures like Indiana Jones and the Retirement Home of Doom.
Yeah, they don't have to do that with him. All they've got to do is just recast the character. James Bond didn't get ancient.
Right. I just think it used to be funny because it was a joke, but now it's not funny because it's real now.
Yeah.
Tim, are you still trying to comment? Because I haven't seen anything pop up yet. Comment or try to share your link if try to share your link if in the.
I know. I just popped in here and then for some reason there was lagging. So.
And he means in the YouTube chat, not in the private chat.
Oh, I'm not on YouTube because if I do that, there's an echo.
You know how you get rid of the echo? Pause it. Or mute it,
yeah.
You can mute the YouTube screen. You can when you pull up the window to put the YouTube screen up, just mute the YouTube screen.
Yep.
And then you can still participate that way.
Because he wants to make sure you have a wrench on YouTube. That way you can put a link to Melvin or whatever else.
Yeah. And if you want to promote your YouTube channel as well. All right, you do have a wrench. So I am in the places that I'm in 2 places at once. All right, and thank you for the like and the share, by the way. And if you'd like, Tim, if you wanted to share your your link to any projects you're doing or your channel, what have you, feel free to do so.
He doesn't have a channel, or not that he has put anything up on it.
Hey, we have Lemon Pie here. Hello, Lemon Pie. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Lemon.
Hello, Lemon.
Hopefully you're enjoying the content here. All right, and then there's the link for everybody who want to go check out Tim's work there. It's in the chat. So, anyways, I'm glad you're here, Tim, because I was just telling everybody from Friday's show when you were on, you were mentioning something about the whole Bill Finger and Bob Kane situation. You want to tell everybody about that?
Oh, I'm sure they already know, but everybody knows that everything that is Batman was actually thought up by Bill Finger.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know we all know it. We all probably already know it, but it's always good to hear again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that's what's been said. Both guys are dead, and it's one.
No. What the deal? What happened was Bob Kane had a deadline, and the idea he had for Batman was kind of dumb looking. So Bill Finger actually kind of came up with better ideas, and Bob Kane would draw it. And the deal was that Bob would get all the credit, and Bill would just be a ghostwriter. Which I think it was stupid for him to agree to it. So that's kind of what happened to him, was kind of on him for agreeing to be a ghostwriter and not getting credit for it.
Yeah, I mean,
Bob just sort of had a red costume guy with a mask on.
Very generic looking. Yeah.
You got to understand, and I always stress this, especially when you go back and look at the 50s, 60s, 70s, and early 80s. Artists, writers, and stuff, they didn't think about copyrights. They didn't think about royalties. They just, my stuff's getting published. My stuff's getting this.
I got a check.
They got, and a very small check. And they ended up not owning anything, and they got what, like that. And that was the thing, and it affected so many artists and writers that, you just feel sorry for them, but they did it to themselves when they agreed to it and signed the documents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that was the way of the business in the day,
That was,
it even goes back to the 30s if you really think about it too.
But that was the whole thing, because when DC Comics started, they were in a boiler room. They had the guys sitting around with I've actually seen actual photos of it, where they're in a boiler room with drawing tablets on their legs, drawing the comic books in a boiler room, sitting around with the boiler, drawing it. I was like, "What the heck is this?" Was you serious?
Yeah. And office, yeah. It wasn't
the contracts were the contracts were on the back of the checks that you got. So basically, by endorsing the check to deposit it, you were signing a contract that said work for hire.
Yeah. It was not a good business deal for any of them.
Well, yeah, it wasn't considered. It wasn't.
Well, you have to remember too, with where we're at in the study of the history of comics, where we're still back in 1939. Comics were still a fairly new medium.
It wasn't taken seriously like it is now.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but the artists, they were not really looked at as artists by the other art community back then, and it really, there's a lot of stuff that just heartbreaking when you hear about their stories and stuff.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I kind of feel like the whole comic book industry has backslid a little bit to where indie comic books are not taken seriously, and it's just either Marvel or DC, and it's just rehashing characters completely.
Well, I would say to that, indie comics are starting to be taken seriously nowadays. They weren't really taken seriously before.
Of course, we all saw some examples of somebody who probably wasn't taken too seriously at the time she was drawing stuff, and probably wouldn't be taken too seriously now, right?
Yeah.
Miss Aline Kominsky Crumb.
Right.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I mean, but I don't know. It seems weird. It's like it seems like we're like all big fishes in a little pond, and there's a bigger pond outside that we don't step foot in very much.
Yeah, and as Tim was talking about that on Friday, I had noted him that I had first kind of heard a little bit about that, when I was watching a stream on Crows of Judgment, where he had Bill Finger, I think it was his granddaughter, Eileen Finger, on there. She was the one who was fighting real hard for Bill Finger to get the credit, just as Neil Adams was for like Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, from when all that was going down. So,
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I was just thinking that we haven't completely taken over the mainstream like we think we are.
Oh yeah, we haven't done that for sure yet.
so you guys like this so far?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Not
Yeah.
bad. I mean, it's just like the other nights we do this. So
Well, now I'm providing a platform where we can go back and do it every week as needed. Yeah,
Yeah.
so, well, hopefully, could be a good conversation. So, what else is going on? Let's see, what else is going on? Let's see. Oh, I flipping through the channels. I think what was it last night or the night before? I was happened upon for a few minutes an episode of Scooby Doo and Guess Who, where I guess Shaggy and Scooby going around with Axl Rose, looking for for all the great diners on Route 66.
What?
Yeah.
Shaggy
Shaggy
and
Cartoon Network, Scooby Doo and Guess Who. It's kind of the same premise as the new Scooby Doo movies from back in '73, but at least from what I saw, this time it's only focusing on Shaggy and Scooby, not the entire history.
yeah. Wait, so Axl Rose of Guns N' Roses was hanging out with Shaggy and Scooby.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what Guess Who is. Every episode was a real celebrity, although some of the
Well,
celebrities
they were real
celebrities
celebrities back in '73 too, RJ.
I know. Even then, I was like, "Who's this person?" Sometimes, I mean, like, I knew who Don Knotts was, but some of the other people they brought on, the new Scooby
Everybody knew
Doo.
who the Addams Family were, and I know you kind of talked a little bit about like the situation with
Yep, they can't release that whole Scooby Doo mystery movies.
John Ashton.
which one?
Yeah. 2 episodes of Scooby Doo and Meets the Addams Family, which were part of the Scooby Doo movies. They are not available on DVD yet.
Yeah,
Because he won't release the voice. He wants too much.
Yep.
Who's that from the Addams Family that wants too much?
John Aston.
John Ashton, who played Gomez Addams on the Addams Family.
His voice is on the thing, so he wants to get paid.
He was.
And I think he's the only voice left on the thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
He wants to be making a killing.
So speaking of anything, did anybody see Wednesday?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
I
watched the
see it
whole
every
thing.
week.
Well, I don't really watch, aside from animes, I don't really watch a whole lot.
I have to tell you, I was pleasantly surprised.
I was too. I liked it. In retrospect, I like it less because I realized it was Harry Potter meets the CW. And that's because, Miles Miller and Alfred Guff were the showrunners. And they were the same showrunners on Smallville. So it was the same formula.
Yeah. Now, I'll say this. I thought the way she did, this I didn't know. She took cello lessons like 3 hours a day for like 4 or 5 weeks. She really busted her butt to learn to play the cello. So some of that stuff that you see in the show was her actually playing.
Yeah. Here's something else to catch it on watching the replay. She did one scene early on in the first episode, one long scene, and she didn't blink the whole time. And Tim Burton said, "Love that. Keep it up. Don't do that." So she doesn't blink the entire series.
Somebody else who pulled that off?
No.
The little girl in Them. If you watch the movie Them, there's a little girl that's walking through the desert. She's playing that she's in shock. She never blinks.
Is that the Ant movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
The little girl at the first of the movie? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, she never blinks.
Oh, makes my eyes dry out just thinking about doing a shot that long.
I'm trying to figure out how somebody that young could do that. She's like 4 or 5 maybe at the most, and that shot.
Well, how long was the shot, though? I mean,
Oh, it's a good, I'd say 4 or 5 minutes with her walking. So she was able to hold it she was able to actually hold for a while. Not because until he walks up and picks her up and holds her and then talks to her, she doesn't blink.
Could be done through several shots, so or retakes,
Well,
whatever.
well, if you ever watched the movie, it wasn't done on a very big budget.
Yeah.
And then we're talking 1954, 56, 54, 55, not now. So. But it is one of the best monster movies ever made, still to this day. And I actually learned how they got the ants to move and everything.
wasn't that stop motion?
No, there was 3 guys underneath moving them.
Oh, geez.
Are you talking about them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
I know everybody loves that movie. But yeah, if you watch, there's one scene where they're in tunnels.
3 ants.
At the end, near the end of the movie.
Yep.
Where he's fixing to get bit. Where he's fixing to die.
Yeah.
The ant coming down the hallway. If you look at the shadow, you can see the guys underneath the ant.
Huh.
I'll have to watch for that.
That was
It's all. And the thing is, they were going to film it in color, and the ants were a brownish red color, so they didn't look that good. But when they showed it in black and white, it looked so much better. They kept it as black and white.
Yeah. Yeah, that movie was such a bad movie, but it was awesome. It was so awesome.
It's a simple movie. It's a very simple movie.
Yeah.
And look at all the stars that came out of that. I mean, their first appearances.
Yeah. But remember, we must keep our fiction plausible. Because you know how plausible giant ants are.
Well, speaking of that, Tim, I know the last couple of weeks I had you on the historical comic retrospect. I think you had some interesting things to say on some of the stories. Well, I know you said you liked the Batman story when we were on the Return of Doc. Since you were my most recent guest on the historical comic retrospect, you want to give everybody your impressions on what we went through on Friday?
The Detective Batman story was more interesting than the rest of it.
Which one?
It was the second appearance. I guess the second appearance of Dr. Death.
Ooh.
Detective Comics issue 1 or volume 1 issue 30, The Return of Dr. Death. This is after Batman had basically set his house on fire, but he happened to escape, and then I think Tim was impressed with some of the killings in the story, and Tim just left, and I was just about to give him some more. Just walked away from the camera there. I was going to give him a chance to talk about the way Batman killed one of the bad guys, the Cossack.
I'm gonna drop away from my camera entirely though. Here, I've got to get some stuff taken care of before 9:00 my time. So
all right. Well, thank you for coming in, RJ. And I hope I'll see you here. I hope I'll be able to see you every week. But I know you'll
be back. I'll be back.
Yeah. So and you are going to be back on the 23rd as well as my co-host for that week's edition of
Historical Comics Retrospective.
So yeah, the historical comic. So before you go, since you do have to leave, since you're feeling the need to leave, you want to do any last minute promotions? Talk about what's coming up for Critical Blast this week. Maybe even share a link or two in the chat.
I don't have any links, but I do have a show scheduled tomorrow with Luke Stone, who is, in addition to doing the hybrids graphic novels that he puts out, is working on a crowdfunder platform called, Fund My Comic. This, in response to a lot of the shenanigans that have been going on at Indiegogo with the with the shadow banning that went on there. Don't like our platform, make your own. They're making their own. So we're going to dig into that and see how that's working out. And then Tuesday night, I will be with the book Vatican Assassins, which is apparently not print, but some sort of a long-running comic book scroll. So I'm going to see what that's like. Sounds like the Bayou Tapestry. So we'll see how that works out. Until then, I'll see y'all later.
All right. Now I'll try to
Later,
pop
RJ.
in like I'm sure. All right, RJ. I'll see you later. All right. So that was good. So now we're down to 4 of us. Yeah. So, hopefully, and when we start to wind, like I'm gonna try to keep this inside of 2. We're coming up on an hour and a half here, so I might start getting ready within the next 10 minutes, start winding down, because one of the key differences on on this show as compared to RJ's show that I'll be doing is I'm still incorporating this day in Nietzsche history, but it will be this weekend in Nietzsche history. So we will be stopping towards the end to do that and then close everything out. So just that's the one slight difference. But aside from that, it's pretty much the same as we always do. And I hope you guys are having fun here and all that.
So yeah, that's gonna be probably a little bit harder than this day in Nietzsche history, doing this weekend in this Nietzsche history, because you got to make sure it's a Saturday or Sunday,
Well,
maybe a
I'm just
Friday.
doing the days. You'll see. I'm just doing the day. It's
My apologies. Where were we?
Yeah. Well, I was before you left or as you were leaving, I was gonna have you talk about like your impressions on how Batman killed his enemy in the book.
It was a very simple. It wasn't like a spectacular kill. It was a very like he basically swung out the window, swung back around, and snapped the guy's neck. And they didn't really, it was a very simple. It wasn't like something that kind of would like add to how severe the neck snapping was. It was just a simple like lettering that said snap.
So basically, I'm going to give a bad movie here. Superman versus Batman, when Ben Affleck as Batman came in through the window and everything.
Yeah.
So, because I'll be honest with you, the more and more I watch Ben Affleck as Batman, the more and more I like him because he's really close to the comic book. When you watch his actions and the way he's moving, he's more like the Dark Knight Batman than anybody that I've seen.
I'm still the whole Christian Bale thing, at least for the first 2. Third one was just like they needed to wrap it up quickly.
Now the Christian Bale first 2 classics, wonderful. I mean, Heath Ledger as the Joker. I mean, you can't go. I mean, that is the.
It was a different type of Joker, but it was still the Joker.
But he was so good at it. That was the whole thing. And this is the thing about Batman. It was never Batman that sold the comic books. It was the villains. The villains sold the comic books. The villains were so good. Just like this last Batman movie. The Batman, what's his name? Who played him? I thought he sucked. You couldn't tell the difference between Batman and Bruce Wayne. You couldn't split the two. Just because of that. But the Penguin, he really was fantastic.
Yep. Interesting take on the Riddler.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, like, because have you ever seen the documentary, The Psychology of Batman?
Yeah. Yes, I have. That is a very good documentary.
Yeah, you'll never see the villains the same way again, or Batman.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Like I said, that's. But I'm looking at it, and I've never seen the Riddler like I've wanted him to be.
Yeah.
For me, using the riddles as key is one thing, but mentally wise, I want him to have a computer for brain. I mean, I want him to be, that unbelievably intelligent, super genius type person that's a little bit twisted. That's what I've always wanted to see him as.
I'd like the comparison in that documentary where they compared him to people who purposely incriminate themselves because they need the
attention.
But his was more like, look how smart I am. I'm so smart. Now acknowledge how smart I am.
Yeah, try to catch me if you think you can.
Yeah.
That kind of attitude, actually, because as part of my cartoon, part of my Toonami watching, as it were, on my own setup, as it were. I'm one of the cartoons I'm watching right now is I'm rewatching Teen Titans in 2003, the 2003 Teen Titans cartoon, right? And that attitude that you're talking about reminds me of the animated series exclusive Control Freak, who was basically a bad guy who utilized as they called it, a souped up TV remote. Well, he was like so flabbergasted at the Titans East, he was so amazed at them that he basically just materialized himself right in front of he was initially on the screen, and then he just all of a sudden just pops up right in front of him, and before he can even escape, Maki Minos comes by, grabs the control, and then they capture him and send him off to jail. So that was.
Do you find it unfair that Teen Titans Go got a lot of hate? Because
I haven't actually watched Teen Titans Go yet. I am going to eventually watch it, part of this, but I never got around to watching it. So
the way I looked at it was a parody, and that's the way I took it.
The original Teen
Titans shows you that.
The original Teen Titans did have a lot of comedy aspects in it, and I just thought they took and that to me was the best part of the original Teen Titans cartoon.
I liked the original one. The original cartoon that you're talking about, I liked. It's just the Teen Titans Go. I mean, as a parody, it worked. As a parody, it worked.
Yeah. Was it too silly?
Yeah.
Which one are you talking about? The original series or the
Teen Titans Go? Do you find that was probably too silly?
I thought it was a little too silly, but again, I thought it was a parody, so it worked as a good comedy, to laugh at.
Yeah, but it wasn't meant to be a parody. You may be taking it as a parody, but
yeah, I know. But like I said, to me, I took it as a parody because I just was like, the Titans. I mean, they're teenagers, but they should be smarter than this.
Yeah.
Well, I think the original did depict them as smarter than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the soundtrack was pretty good too.
Now the soundtrack, that's the soundtrack was great.
The opening theme, yeah, that was that for some, they even had it in Japanese, I guess. Once in a while.
Japanese. It was a Japanese pop group that did the opening.
Mm-hmm.
The actual group was a Japanese group. They could do both English and Japanese, but it was a Japanese duo, two girls.
Oh,
yep.
Yeah, the two girls even had their own cartoon show for a while.
Really?
That was on Cartoon Network.
For about a year or so.
Yeah, they brought it over from Japan for them.
I never heard of it.
It was called, I believe it was called Hi Hi Puffy Yami Yumi.
Never heard of it.
It didn't last too long. It lasted, as I said, about a year.
They did a season here in the States. It had the pop music like Teen Titans, but it was just a funny show. It was just comedy all the way around.
Yeah, that's interesting.
He didn't catch on like Teen Titans.
Have you seen? There's was that history show that talked about like board games and the history of them, and they're talking about Monopoly, which is basically based on the landlord game.
Yeah.
And so, in order to release Monopoly, they had to buy the rights to the landlord game. And she's the woman that sold it to him with the condition that they released so many copies of the landlord game, which was very unpopular. I mean, it was popular in colleges for some reason, but your average American didn't like it.
If they liked Monopoly.
Well, Monopoly, you got richer, and the landlord game was supposed to be it was considered really depressing. Because you got
I never even heard of it, let alone seen it.
She was basically a communist. And America said no to her in a big way. I think it was the most burned board game in history.
Oh wait, I think I heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the interesting one is Nintendo, because Nintendo, their main moneymaker is not The video games.
Oh, really?
It's board games.
Huh? How so?
They make the game Go.
Oh,
The game I go in, the Japanese get the Asian game with the pebbles.
I've never heard of that game.
Oh,
Oh,
I think I know what you're talking. I think I think they actually made an anime about it. Hikaru no Go.
yeah.
Is that the one
With the
where?
white pebbles and the black pebbles, and you have
Right.
to take. Yeah, it's basically the way to put it is, chess is to checkers as Go is to chess. It's
Is
a
Oh.
that
lot more, it's a lot more intense, and it's played basically all over Asia.
would it be known here maybe as Othello or something like that?
No, it's not. It's not Othello because it's not necessarily. It's not where you have a two-sided disc where one side's black, one side's white, and you just flip it over. It's not like that. It's pebbles. Um,
Just with you saying the whole black and white stones, that made me think of Othello.
what I would recommend, like the there's an anime that I just mentioned, Hikaru no Go. That one really explains the game real well. James, I don't know if you've
there's
seen that anime before or not.
Show my
The-
screen. This is Go. This is the game I'm talking about.
There-
All right, I'll
there's an anime about somebody's car that doesn't go.
That is Go. That game.
Okay. It looks similar to Othello.
But that's the game I'm talking about.
As long as it's not decimation.
No. But that's the game, and they make an incredible amount of money on this game.
Oh wow. That looks like
Yeah,
a
they
fun
did
game.
actually make an anime about it that I would highly recommend you guys check out. I don't know if you may have seen it before, James, or not. I know
I have.
you have. Oh, you have?
Yeah, I've seen it. I watch anime all the time.
Yeah.
I have one of the best collections in the entire United States. I own like over
Now,
1,000
do you
titles.
watch more? Do you watch more dub or sub?
Sub.
Okay. Well,
I
then
have to
the
watch
other-
dub. I don't
the
like
other
to.
piece of news that just came out.
I don't like-
Although
I
I
don't-
can say this, if you have seen High School DxD, the English voice actress for Rhea Scrimmery actually looks like Rhea Scrimmery. She is a
Jamie
red-haired,
Markey.
beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Jamie
Yeah.
Markey. Yeah, Jamie
Uh,
Markey is also one of the ones who
Did we lose
basically
somebody?
put Vic under the bus.
Yeah, for the animes, I have to go dub. I can't read that fast.
Yeah, I don't like to read my movies. I like to hear my movies.
Right. I'm kind of the same way. I don't like to have to stop every. I want to be able to watch it in the 22 to 24 minute time that it's not. I don't want to spend an hour sitting there.
I'll miss
stop every
something.
2
Yeah.
seconds to have to read something.
Mhm.
It's like.
I've
But
been-
the reason I brought that up, of course, because I did see another little thing. Now, granted, I doubt if the name would mean anything to any of you guys, but Grant James, who was a voice actor with Funimation, passed away recently. I think he was in his 70s. He did a number of character voices for some of the the dubs that Funimation did. Let's see, he was the English dub voice of Zeph, Chef Zeph in One Piece for the Funimation dub. That was one of them. So, granted, go ahead, Rick.
I was just saying, and One Piece just had a movie that came to America.
Yeah, Red. That one's supposed to be a pretty good one. I actually, it's kind of funny because there was this one, I guess, human rights lawyer who came out and criticized it. He said he took his daughter to it, and he really ripped into it until people just responded back to him on it.
Hey guys, I'm going to need to take off.
Oh, okay.
I just saw- I just
Okay,
saw-
well, yeah, we'll probably start to wrap up here, but before you go, James, if you want to promote anything, you want to put your links up again,
I will drop my link one more time.
and then if you want to just tell us, give a brief
Again,
review about what you're
this is
doing and all?
this is the graphic novel from my new book, The Stein's Rise of the Vampires. It tells the story of Count Vladislav Vicious von Kumpfen and why he became the vampire and what leads into the novels that have been out. Actually, been selling really well. We passed total sales for all 3 books combined, 41,000 copies. So I'm very happy with that. It's audiobook, all digital formats, Kindle, Apple, Google, and the novels. So hardback, paperback, all of them. So very happy with that. That story is about a young girl named Mary Jane von Stein, whose parents are murdered, and she's forced to go overseas to live with her folks. When she gets over there, she finds out they're vampires, werewolves, and walking undead. And while she's over there, the people that killed her parents want her dead. And you find out that, the person behind it all is another vampire. So this is all that story wrapped up together. We're looking at, right now, if you sign up on the pre-launch, you get access to a special cover that you'll be able to buy, but only for those that sign up for the pre-launch will you be able to get it. So,
and of course, here's the link for everybody if you want to, guys, including in on the replays, you guys want to go check that out.
So
there it is. And I guess Tim, you're also putting up a link.
they put up the same one, it looks like. But thank you for having me.
And I hope to see you back here next week as well, James.
I will see. It just depends on what's going on at work and everything like that. So we'll see.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for dropping in, and thank you for your input. And I hope that we'll see you back here next week and in the other weeks to come.
All righty. Have a good one.
See you later.
Later.
My bad.
The one thing we could do to solve the sub dub problem is learn Japanese.
I don't want to take the time to do that.
Yeah. I think we might fall under the category you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
I think I could learn if I really wanted to, but I don't want to that bad yet.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, I think we went a pretty good amount of time.
Okay, my bad.
Oh, what did you have more you wanted to talk about, or
no? I just I didn't realize I came in so late.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and Tim, again, a reminder for these. I'm gonna probably be sending links out every Sunday. These are not quote unquote that you're scheduled, but
yeah.
So this is what we're going to do. We're going to start to wrap up here. I'm going to go ahead and do This Day in Each History. And then after that...
I was just going to say, and these start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or 5 Pacific.
Yeah. Well, and I did say that, and when I sent out the invites, I did give all that information. But... Anyways, because normally I do it at 6, and that I'm still going to be doing it at 6 during the week. But anyways, we're going to start to wrap up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the This Day in Each History segment, or in this case, this weekend in each history. But now, what this simply means is that this weekend, of course, is December 3rd and 4th, but doesn't necessarily mean that the days that in the other years they happen necessarily. It just simply means they're gonna have the 2 days as an option, and we're just gonna say what happened on those 2 days, even though it's the weekend today. So you'll see in a moment, and then after we're done with that, then we'll do like one little final wrap around where I'll just go around, go around to you guys and. That you guys, do much like I did with James and RJ, and they would have been part of it too if they had stuck around. But let me just do one more thing here, just try to keep the viewership up on YouTube because it's going down to 1 again. See if that will at least help get it up a bit. But with that, so today is Sunday, December the 4th, 2022. So we're going to take a look back at this weekend in each history, where we're going to look back to some history items that have happened over the last couple of days here, the 3rd and the 4th here. So let me just go through all this real quick. So the first thing we're going to look at is the 3rd, December 3rd. So what happened on December 3rd in each history? So first off, we're going to go back 70 years ago. And on this date, 70 years ago today, from Toby Comics, the 15th issue of Billy the Kid Adventure magazine went on sale on this date and sold for 10 cents and was 32 pages. It was a bi-monthly book where they would go out every other month. It would appear because the cover date is February, March 1953. So on this date, 70 years ago today, the 15th issue of Billy the Kid Adventure magazines. Looks like it might be a bit of a Western one there. Do you see the cover there?
Yeah, with Billy the Kid, I would think so.
Yeah.
Although 1952 is when my mom was born.
Yeah.
Although a little bit earlier in the year, like January.
Yeah. So, anyway, so with that, we'll move on to the next piece of niche history here. As on this date on the 3rd, December 3rd, 1972, 50 years ago from yesterday. As I can grab it. Over in Japan, the classic mecha anime Mazinger Z premiered on Japanese TV on this date back in 1972. 50 years ago today, Toei Animation's Mazinger Z, considered one of the all-time classics, mecha. It was a Japanese super robot manga series or mecha series, illustrated by Go Nagai. And it would premiere on Fuji TV on this date back in 1972, 50 years ago today. So there we go with that one. And also on one last thing from December 3rd of December on this date on December 3rd, 15 years ago, yesterday, back in 2007, WWE's Monday Night Raw would hold an event in North Charleston at the North Charleston Coliseum in North Charleston, South Carolina. The main event saw Randy Orton defeat Shawn Michaels by a countout. Jeff Hardy would retain the Intercontinental Championship against Snitsky. You also had Hornswoggle defeat Carlito and Jonathan Coachman in a no DQ 2-on-1 handicap match. I don't know if you guys remember Hornswoggle, but he was a midget wrestler who the whole gimmick was he was supposedly the son of Finley. So that's at least, and then there were a couple other matches there, but those are probably the three of most of note. So that's what happened on December 3rd in niche history. Now let's look at the one thing I want to bring up for November 4th. And week by week,
you mean December 4th, not November 4th?
Oh yeah, December 4th. You can see that my mouth is starting to get a little twisted. I'd actually like to wish a happy 60th birthday to Canadian voice actress Julie Lemieux. Julie Lemieux, huh?
I have no idea who that is.
Well, Julie Lemieux, the Canadian voice actress, probably one of her more well-known voices, was she would provide the voice of Shingo Tsukino in the Deke and Cloveway dubs of Sailor Moon, the ones that they did back in the 90s, the dubs of Sailor Moon they did back in the 90s.
Okay.
Aside from that, she'd also provided the voices for Paisley Paver and Wild Kratts. She was actually the title character Rupert in Rupert, Russ in the Busy World of Richard Scarry, Warren Patterson in Monster by Mistake, Mrs. Gorf in Wayside, Fuzzy Snuggins in Splice, and then Callie in Paw Patrol.
My mom might actually recognize her from that. This Canadian actress who was born 60 years ago does a voice in Paw Patrol.
Yeah, Callie from Paw Patrol. As I said,
Callie.
Shasto was brought in to do the voice of Shingo Tsukino.
The dog, Callie. Oh, sorry. I'll mute myself.
Yeah. Shingo Tsukino, who was like basically Serena's little brother in the series. So there we go. So that's all we have for you on this day in each history. So now we're going to go ahead and start to wrap things up here, guys. On our way out here, I'm going to go ahead and go around the table. And, basically, Rick, I know that you got something at the end of the week you're doing, and I'll mention that. So, but talk more about your own stuff that you guys are planning this week. I'm going to start with Tim at the bottom, and then go in counterclockwise there.
All right. Oh, well, what am I? Okay, hold on. What are we doing now?
Okay, so we're wrapping things up. So what I want you to do is tell us what you may be going. Either you got anything going on this week, or in terms of your projects, or anything you want to promote. You want to promote?
I might be ordering some stickers. See how they turn out. I'm doing a lot of test runs. I did a test run of the first cover, of the Dillard cover, and now I'm doing a test run on some stickers.
Okay, and if you want to share any links to your stuff, you can do that too.
Okay. All right, where is that? History. Go ahead, continue talking. All
right. Well, is there anything else you want to add to what we've been talking about, or?
No, sir.
Okay.
There you go.
So yeah, go ahead and share that, and then Rick, you're up. So what do you have going? I know you've got your own channel you do stuff on.
Yeah. Well, Tuesday I will be doing my chill stream. Just basically, I'll be drawing something up or whatever, and then anybody can come by. We just chat about whatever. You can possibly come on the panel. Starts at 10 Eastern, goes to midnight. Just usually a lot of time whatever comes up.
Yeah, and I usually will pop in once in a while, right?
Yeah, that like I know yours usually goes to 10:30. No, you start at 9, so you usually go to about 11. So you got an hour to pop in there afterwards if you want. But yeah, and in the next coming weeks, hopefully this week I'll be getting done all the basic art on the Canadian Shield, like the coloring, and then I just gotta go back and check in everything, make sure everything's all correct. Haven't missed anything. And what else do I gotta do after? In a couple weeks, about the 13th of December, 13th or sometime that week, I'll probably have a interview up that I had with a local cable station about my comics.
All right.
So
okay, aside from what I'm about to mention, anything else you want to add to that, or
just if anybody here wants to go subscribe to my channel, it's Cross Comics. I can put a link in the chat.
Yeah, and why don't you go ahead and do that?
And if people can go check out my Indiegogo for the Canadian Shield too.
Yeah, you can put both those links up.
Yeah.
All right, and while you're doing that, all right. So, so here's the thing. So this week, of course, Well, no, we'll be back to our, I'll be back here tomorrow night, doing a niche newscast. I hope everybody will be here for that. Also, this Friday on our historical comics retrospect, Rick will be joining me this week. Rick Piper here, as we'll be looking at comics that went on sale in July of 1939 from Dell Comics, Super Comics Volume 1, number 15, as well as Crackerjack Funnies, Volume 1, number 15 as well. So be looking forward to Rick's commentary on that as well. And I know he likes to also read along and help do the voices as well. So hopefully you looking forward to that, Rick?
Oh yeah, for sure, always. Any idea which stories we're doing about which characters?
I have kind of an idea, and I'll send you to them. Usually with Dell, with stuff like Dell, like Dell and a few others like Eastern Colors, a lot of those are more reprints, so they're a little more random reads. But I do have kind of an idea of what I'm going to do, and I'll send you the stories. But my recommendation is just look through the whole book, just to be prepared for anything.
Yeah. I was just trying to get people interested by knowing what we might be reading.
Yeah. Well, we probably will hit the Myra North story, for example. That one I'm pretty sure I will. Of course, I will once again be trying my best to do the best female impersonation I can do. Right, guys?
Yeah. Sure. Hey, and if you ever want me to try any of those female voices, I think I can give it a try, dude.
No. No.
Yeah, I think some people think it's bad enough I try to do it, Rick. That's why I'd love to have Diana on more, to where, at least then, we'd have a female who could actually legit do the female voices, but hopefully we'll be able to get Chris and Diana on more. But anyways, all right. So with that, guys, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow night when we get back into the niche news coverage. Rick will be with me this Friday, and of course, Tim will be back with me next Friday on the 16th.
I'm with you on the 16th. Tim's not till next month.
That's right. Oh, wait, yeah. Oh, wait, let's see.
I'm the 16th and 30th. RJ's probably somewhere in the middle there.
The 23rd. No, actually, you're this Friday. You're the 9th.
Oh, yeah, the 9th. Yeah, 9th and...
Okay. And Tim's the 16th because you do the 9th and because Tim did the 2nd, I scheduled him for the 16th. So you're the 9th and the 30th.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Duh.
All right. Well, anyways, guys, and I thank everybody in the chat for being here. I hope everybody had a good time. And I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow for more niche news coverage. And hope to see everybody back here Friday for the historical comedy retrospect. And next Sunday when we bring everybody back for another edition of the weekend edition. So with that, I thank everybody for being here. And I bid everybody adieu. Bye.